Frankly, there is no current event scenario. It's the industry is closed down worldwide, and this is, of course, the repercussions are very strong because it means a loss of billions of dollars for industry people across the world. So it is, of course, a terrible scenario. Smaller players will get shut down, and of course, the larger, more established brands who have a little bit more holding power will hold on. So the good news is that the large design events, I'm only speaking of our industry, which is the interiors and design sector, the large interiors events of the world, some are, of course, postponed to the next year. But I'm happy to say that the London Design Festival is on in October. My take on the surge in digital events and this virtual connect is that of course it had to happen because people have to find a way to keep themselves engaged and visible. So I imagine that this is the kind of thing. It's a kind of a raising your hand to say, I exist. I haven't gone anywhere. I might not be able to serve you actively, but I'm here. I'm there for you. Now the point is that a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is frankly not terribly useful. It's just a sort of a me thing. And while the first few events were interesting, maybe they had some sort of a novelty factor. Frankly, now we're just all dying with event overload, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of webinars. And I do believe there is a place for webinars. I do believe that they are useful, but only if it's niche and technical, not in the sort of self aggrandizement that I see around me today. So, not a very popular thought, but it is my own. As you might know, I'm associated with Index Fairs, which is a large interiors and design event. So the next Index Fairs will be scheduled in December, where we hope things are a little more back to, well, a new normal, a slightly kinder normal, perhaps. And we do plan to have smaller events before that, and of course we're going to have digital events before that. So in that sense the events will go on. In terms of the very near future, that is the next year or so, I feel that events may get smaller and more focused. So instead of having the grand big galas, I would say you would have a more focused topical or topic related event, say one that refers to a segment of an industry rather than the broad industry at large. And I see industry events being smaller and perhaps more spread out, moving away from the metros into smaller cities. I believe that we will see a larger digital component. For instance, we'll see more virtual trade fairs. We had a look at the kind of offerings that vendors had in people who were doing the back office or the back end for virtual trade fairs, and you could see that they were not ready. They were not ready to face the market. Now, in terms of a physical trade fair, we really are ready at any time to set up, and we have everything locked down. We know what the logistics are, we know what the sales are, we know what the setup is. But I believe that in the future there will be a balance between the virtual and the real, and people will realize that there's a lot of business to be done on Zoom or even like this. But at the end of the day, there is also that component of actually we are social animals and we do need to see or look into the eyes of the person that we're planning to do business with. So in that sense, I see a balance with a greater role for the digital platforms.
So everything has moved virtual. So we have virtual galleries now. All the art shows went virtual. Design shows are also looking at going virtual as well. The other day I attended the Maison et Objects Designer of the Year press conference, and it was completely online, which is something that actually never happened before. So I think there's innovation in everything, and we're going to just see how things pan out in the coming months, and see how things change, because we have to innovate in how we put content out, and the conversations that we have. I think both of those channels are going to change.
So the first thing that we are having to face with is that we're not able to commission any shoots, which is what we like to do. We like to do our own shoots and have them styled the way we like it. So we are having to work with what we can, put together, or what is available to us. That is, and we don't see the shoots happening in the next 3 months at least. So, fortunately, in all this technology, our phones, our handheld devices are far better than they were, say, 5 years ago. So, we are able to get some fairly decent images. One, everyone is on the same platform. Yeah. So earlier everyone was doing different proportions, doing the same thing, but some were very big on print and some others were very big on social media and the digital. But now we find everybody is on one platform, if I may say. Most of us are on Insta. So that's brought everybody together. And it's also much easier for the consumers of the media, design media, that they find everything on one platform.
I think social media has been a huge boon in this lockdown. Honestly, it's brought some of the most brilliant minds together. Something we did recently was we hosted the Digital Design Week, the first ever Digital Design Week in India, and it's been amazing because I would never have thought of us doing this last year. And this year just seemed something so natural and obvious to do. And we had webinars, we had workshops, we had live conversations, and we had some of the most brilliant minds, not only from India but internationally as well.
Do we see the content changing? Yes, I think there will be some changes because consumption of design media would have changed. People's perception, people's reaction, people's appreciation of their surroundings and their spaces would certainly have undergone a change during this lockdown. So the live talks and webinars that we've been having, I think they're a great format, and I always wondered why we didn't have these earlier. If you ask whether they're going to replace the live seminars, I don't think so, because there is a huge quality to the physical interaction and meeting of people. But the fact that you could not attend so many and that content was lost, that has been recovered to a large extent through these webinars. Print magazines, when do we see it coming back? The situation right now is very, very volatile. A safe guess would be somewhere around the festival season. That should be considering and hoping that everything goes, the curve starts flattening towards the festival season is what we should be looking at. And yes, there will be a permanent increase in digital content and presence in of what we do. Uh, the whole thing for those of us who were not very active earlier, this has just forced us and broken the barriers and also broken the glass ceiling for a lot of us to, to work with it. So yeah, we're looking forward to a new change, to a change and a new scenario, and we're all, I'm sure, others are excited as well.